Although 2020 has been a very difficult year for many individuals, families, and countries alike, Botswana has some good news. The government has decided to allow wives to be able to own land. Now, according to the World Bank, women face a host of barriers to owning land, be it through skewed inheritance rights or restricted authority over assets in 40% of countries. That is the World Bank. According to Landesa, although most African and Asian farmers are women, only about 15% of global farmland is owned by women. A global land rights organization, Landesa, says that experts predict increased inequality due to the coronavirus. What a joy to realize that Botswana has taken this step in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. A wife in Botswana can now own land alongside her husband. That is what the president of Botswana, President Mtukudzi Tuku, said on Thursday in a boost for women that rights groups called long overdue. Prior to this amendment, the 2015 land policy stopped wives from owning land if their husbands already had some. What it means is that according to the 2015 land policy in Botswana, what has been happening is that if the husband already has land, the wife was not permitted to buy land and put it in their own name, which was quite discriminatory. Women rights activist Tuna Mualusi said this amendment will allow women to be independent in marriages and also have rights to land as any other person. What good news for women. And I believe not just for women, but for men who love their women as well. Men who love their daughters, men who love their own wives, their mothers, should be celebrating. Men who love equality should be celebrating this revised land policy in Botswana. Botswana's revised land policy gives everyone an equal eligibility to a residential plot in a place of their choice on both the state and tribal land. Previously, only unmarried women or the wives of men who did not already own land were eligible for land rights. The discrimination left millions of married women, widows, and single mothers without access to the land where they live and work. This is a great news that needs to be shared. Everybody should be celebrating that this is a good thing. So someone is saying the Botswana Land Policy 2015 was discriminatory against married women and did not give them equal treatment with men. And I'm happy to report that this discriminatory subsection has since been repealed. The government of Botswana allots deeds for land on which people have a legitimate claim but no legal rights, seeking to regularize a chaotic ownership system. According to a government audit announced in Parliament last month, 53% of the 620,660 people on the government land allocation waiting list are women. You can be assured that these were not including wives, but now with wives being allowed to register their land in their names, this is going to be awesome. The average waiting period for land has been 10 to 30 years. President Masisi said on Twitter that the new policy would also protect widows and orphans who may head households. We know that in many parts of the world, particularly in Africa, there are quite a lot of women that are breadwinners. Some of them are widows, and they are taking care of their families. And when you talk of a symbol of wealth, a symbol of livelihood, you are talking about land. So allowing women, wives to own land is only going to encourage widows and orphans to have a good livelihood. This is a good step in the right direction for Botswana, and we hope that other countries that have discriminatory laws in terms of ownership of land will also follow suit. According to Tsekofatso Mukibelo, 38-year-old widowed financial analyst, she was turned down when she last applied for a residential plot because her late husband owned land and his family had claimed it. And you know, this is something that happens over and over and over. That's why the late music legend Oliver Mtukudzi of Zimbabwe, Tuku, he sang a song, Neria, and actually produced a film that became well known all over the world. And the message that he was sending across is that widows are troubled all over. Widows, particularly in Africa, the culture is such that when a man dies, the relatives come and take everything. In some cases, you find that the matter can be taken to court, but the courts can actually, take a lot of years to make a decision. It also depends on whether in that country the legal system is alive or is dead. If the legal system is dead, then the widow and the orphans have nowhere to go. So, if women can be allowed to own land alongside their husbands, if wives can be allowed to own land alongside their husbands, that's amazing. That's awesome. Now women have the right to own land. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this? Does this happen in your own country? What sort of laws do you have in your country? Do the laws in your country allow wives to own land? Or maybe wives are suppressed. Does it happen in your country the same way that it happened in the film Neria by Tuku, Oliver Mtukudzi? Does it happen in your countries that when someone passes on and is survived by his wife and children, the wife and the children are scattered? In some places, you actually realize that the family of the husband will actually accuse the widow of being the killer. They say, you must have murdered our son. They say, you must be a witch. They say, you are the one who has killed our son, our brother, our nephew, so that you can take everything that he owns. But you are joking. We are taking everything. In some cases, they actually say, okay, now that our brother is dead, someone must take over. Maybe his young brother must become your new husband. And if you are that kind of woman that says, no, I've lost my husband and I don't see myself having to be taken over by another man. I just want to take care of my children. Please give me an opportunity to take care of my children. Then they will say, oh, you do not want to follow our culture? It's time you pack your things and go. You can only imagine what that widow is packing as her things and going where. In many cases, the widow will just be weeping, the children will just be weeping, the home is scattered because the man is gone. So I believe, and I think you will agree with me, that the step that the Botswana government has taken to empower wives, it's an amazing step. It's a very good step towards equality, and it will help in cases where the man leaves the world first, so that the wife and the children will not have to suffer. You can imagine as men how hardworking we can be. In many cases, you are not hardworking alone. You are working alongside your wife. You work together. You sacrifice together. You suffer together. You go through it all together. And you are hoping that even when you are no longer there, the lifestyle that you have taught your children, the lifestyle that you have given to your wife, they should be able as a family to continue living that life when you are gone, only for relatives to come. Wicked relatives. I should call them wicked relatives who don't know how to use their own hands to work hard for themselves. They go ahead and chase away your wife, they chase away your children simply because they want wealth which they did not work for. So I believe if wives can own their own land and they put it in their own names, nobody can touch it. What are your thoughts? Let me know what you think. I'm excited to share this with you. I'm so happy. This has made my day. Empowerment of women is very, 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 very important. Thank you, guys. Remember to subscribe to this channel, all right? And click the notification bell so that the next time I produce a video, you are the first to get it. Thank you so much. I love you. Bye for now.